I want to see as people are coming back. I've got 6 of you on here. 7, show me some comments so that I can make sure I can see you all. Here you come. Shoot me a comment. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I can tell you, I'm going to give it about 2 minutes because I had a big number watching. And I want to give it a couple minutes. Don't believe for a minute that that was an accident. It was not. We are under attack, and I am fully believing that that was part of it, as my Facebook account began to have some issues at the same time. So I'm going to pick back up where we left off in a couple of minutes, and I know those that watched the first part will probably be able to then watch both halves. I'm going to call it part 2. We're back, and again, I do not believe for a minute that that was an accident. Hopefully those that were watching are able to get the notification that we're back on, and they'll be able to join us. I think this is a coordinated attack. We've had it a little bit before. They do not want to hear what it is that I'm talking about. We've talked about getting off of the platforms, and even YouTube is one of them. We've been okay here. I'm hoping that's not it, but it also is still based on simultaneously being on mine and Tammy's Facebook page. So we don't know where exactly that's at, which is the reason we usually delay in bringing up information. The way that this happened, it wasn't a streaming issue, so I can't answer the question, but I just want to give it just a couple more minutes. And I understand people are talking about Rumble, and those are, remember, you aren't live from Rumble, you're just storing your videos there, and we're going to be storing those directly on our platform, both through our locals. They're allowing us to do that now, but we're very close to being able to do lives through our locals.com site. Understand, once we're able to do that, that is going to really put us in a position to where we don't have to worry about the stability of things like this. We're putting together our own broadcasting studio where we can store things and have you go watch them both off of and through our website. So I've got about a third of you, a quarter of you back of what were there here just a bit ago. So I just want to quickly pick back up where we were. I think some of them are still kind of waiting for that other one that were there. Can everybody see and hear me fine now, right? Give me a yes if you can hear everything I'm saying and that I'm not frozen for any reason. Looking for comments from people. You can hear and see me fine? Is that right? All right, good. Okay, so back where we were. So we can't change where we are. So now the question is, what do we do to go forward? The call to action is a couple of things. Number one, if you can show up tomorrow, bring your chairs. It'll be over literally by dark is our plan, or thereabouts, 5:30, 5:45. We're going to have music just like we do. Scott Christmas is bringing the sound system, so we'll have music there. It's going to start probably the program about 4, and we'll end by between 5:30, 5:45. So those of you that want to get back, if you're driving a ways, that's fine. If you can come, we look forward to having you there. If you have a business that's staying open and you want to share your story, make sure you message us and let us know if it's a unique story for a restaurant, a business, or whatever. But I wanted to cover one more thing because it'll go along with what it is I'm saying to you about where we go from here. And that is that I was just on a good long call with the bowling associations and their members, which are the people that own bowling alleys, bowling centers throughout the state of Michigan. It was a good long phone call, conference call with all of them in an attempt to get them to consider standing up together as they are on their last legs there. Their leagues are canceled and they've been shut down in a lot of ways, but a lot of them simply can't afford to be shut down any longer. So the story is the same as it's been with all of you, and that is that we have to stand up together. We're not going to be able to go through this again like we did in May and think that with what's happening in these elections, that we're going to have another opportunity next spring, because I don't believe that opportunity will be. I think that we have to stand up this time, and we have to stand up now. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that angrily. I say that as a call to you and your individual understanding of what your rights and freedoms are. We truly have to stand up this time. We really have to say no. We have to say we do not consent. If we all do this together, the government will again do, which we've talked about here, and I'm going to go back to that banner so that you understand, and that is, when the government fears we, the people, there's liberty. They need to fear the people. We're coming to a point now, a crossroads now, where we're either going to cave in, we're going to stay in our homes, we're going to wear our masks, we're going to give up our Thanksgiving, we're going to close our businesses, and then we're going to wait for the government to tell us what to do. Is that the life you want to live? I'm asking. The alternative to that is we stand up together. Some of us have the ability to say, you know, I can afford to shut down and wait it out. It's safer that way. Some say we can't consent, period, because I'm going to get closed anyway. And one of the bowling center's people, and I don't remember who it was, made a direct comment that said, I would rather have them come and take the keys out of my hand or attempt to lock my door than I would to slowly die to where I have to turn it over to a bank because I made the decision not to stay open. It's a fair question. It isn't a fair situation. They work for us. The government is against us right now. Majority or no majority, they cannot change, and we can't wait for a court to make a decision. I was able to get David Coleman from the Great Lakes Justice Center to review some of these situations and give some advice and some information to some of those that own these centers, to give them some courage. It doesn't make it easier. He's honest with them. Some of you will be cited. Some of you may be the poster child for attacks. It's then our job as individual citizens to protect them, to protect our property, to protect our individual rights and freedoms and stand together. That's what we have to do. I'm not going to be angry about it this time because anger hasn't seemed to make a difference with a majority. There are all those that are ready to stand up, but there are a lot of those that want to be behind a keyboard. I'm there with you, but they won't show up. I can't make you show up, and I can tell you the silent majority has awakened. They got up and voted. They signed petitions in unbelievable numbers, and they did stand up for our freedoms in a lot of ways, but they're weary too. Now is not the time to be weary. Here's the difference. I was mentioning about what was happening around the world, and I believe that this wasn't meant to be. The New World Order was supposed to have already started. The slow, systematic movement from the World Health Organization, the International Monetary Fund, worldwide control, the United Nations, global warming, the Paris Climate Accord. Just go through the list. All of those things were to take hold, and those departments are run by people that don't get elected every 2 or 4 years. They're there for 20 years. They've been setting the stage for a lot of these things for all of those years. It's still set in place. The only thing that's going to change the trajectory is going to be if we stand up. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you that now is the time, because if not now, when? If not you, who then? I've been saying that for the last week. I continue to work with our legislators, and I can tell you something else when I talk about not looking at the media. There are things you don't know about Speaker Chatfield or Senator Shirkey. There are things that they are doing and have done. Lee Chatfield was on Mark Levin. If any of you don't believe Mark Levin is one of the strongest constitutionalists there, and what he told him and talked to him about on his program and what he stood up for on there and what he says that he is standing up for on one end when it comes to the election integrity, believe me, those people believe that they are standing up. Now, what you hear in the media are snippets of comments made because they put them in a position to answer questions. Maybe they shouldn't answer them at all. But then again, they seem to not have a platform to be able to tell the truth either. For instance, here is a question for Senator Shirkey. If indeed the majority of the people of Michigan voted for Joe Biden, are you going to override the vote of the people and have the legislators send their electors to represent Donald Trump anyway? How does he answer that question? The proper answer to that question is no. If the election is proven through audits and investigation, whatever it is, that indeed more people voted, we would never change the electors to go beyond what the people of Michigan voted for. Guess what? That's what was quoted. Let's go in the article. It isn't the whole thing. It isn't all the questions that were asked. It's the answers to the question. You know they can answer questions in polls to get you to answer things a certain way. I'm not saying that they stand up the way I would. I'm not saying they speak the way I do. They don't. They're their own people. They're their own men. They represent their own caucus. But to believe for 1 minute that they don't believe that election integrity is important, I can tell you that it's not true. It will be proven to be so, and you will understand that in the future. I believe you will. I also believe that they could have and should have stood up sooner. I believe that Lee Chatfield should have stood up for Unlock Michigan back in the summer. But those legislators, a whole bunch of them, believe that the governor was so popular they couldn't possibly go against her because everybody thought she was doing a wonderful job. I don't know what they were reading. I don't know who they were talking to, but they believed it. When we got the votes and we got the signatures and turned them in, when we won at the Supreme Court, you'd think they would have been standing in a line on the Capitol steps to declare victory. But no, we need to work together now. We all need to get along. No, we didn't need to get along. We don't need to get along. They need to understand you have to work with us now. And here are the things that we demand as you work with us. There will be no mandates. Strong recommendations, but no mandates. We can do both. We can strengthen it to the point where people will follow along and we will set an example for the rest of the country. Those would have been my words. But that's not me. They believe that she would just sit down. They continue to believe that this person is going to work with them and understand it's never going to happen. They're going to use everything you do to turn you against their own people, and that's what they've done. Again, I'm not apologizing for them. I'm telling you that a lot of what you read, a lot of what you see is not what the men believe. It's not what the men are even saying, but they get twisted so many times that they stop saying it. They stop doing the interviews. And when they do attempt to have an interview where they want to tell the truth, media won't show up, or they won't report it, or they will twist what is said. I know those are facts because I talked to them personally, some of them in the last 24 hours. It's not what all that it seems to be. I'm not representing them. I'm telling them, believe it or not, the reason that I'm calling them, I know you'll believe this. I'm calling them and saying to them, this is what the people think. This is the anger and frustration, and you better come out. You better get a platform. You better speak for the people. And as Tammy and I have mentioned on here, you can either get up and stand at the microphone and I'll stand behind you. You can have me at the microphone and you can stand alongside me, or you can have 100,000 of us standing there and you can bring up the tail. Those are their options. Do you know what I need? I need to know that I have the hundreds of thousands of you to stand with me. I need to know that when we ask for you to show up, that you're going to show up. I know a lot of you do, but we need to spread the word to a lot more. This is the end. This is the challenge. We're not going to go back through this again in March. The Restaurant Association says 6,000 additional restaurants will be closed forever if they completely lock down now. They're not likely to get injunction relief up front. They're going to have to fight it. But those that choose to stay open or push the envelope in order to be able to take care of their families, their employees, their businesses, and conduct and control their personal lives is dependent on all of us doing it together, because they cannot stop hundreds of thousands of us from doing what we do. If we stand alone, they can pick on you and you can say, "Whew, I'm glad I didn't stand there," right? But it's important that we stand together. I believe there are more and more groups that are gathering together, associations that are speaking with one voice. And we are encouraging those groups and association to be involved with Stand Up Michigan, to know that the people that patronize those businesses, the people that either own or work in those businesses, the individuals that are both not involved in that, are just employees, but the people who are just Americans will stand behind them and will patronize their businesses. And yes, they will face some attacks by individuals who believe that they're destroying and killing people by trying to make a living. And those people will probably be in their basements with their masks on and not celebrating Thanksgiving. And that is their choice. But as one pastor said the other day, and I know I read it on here, he said, I'll be having 30 people over for Thanksgiving from several different families. And if the governor wants to come, she probably should try the stuffing first. That came from a pastor. The church is beginning to wake up a bit. Tomorrow's event will have a pastor speaking there, Pastor Paul Rosinski from Resonate Church. He has transformed a bit during the process. He was a bit fearful, did a little bit of closing down, opened up slowly. He's now at a place where he believes that God is revealing to all of us that we are in the end times. Religious or not, understand we're in the times where America and freedom is forever about to change, unless we as a group of people rise up at whatever level is necessary. You know what that means. Our voices, our businesses, we as individuals, us as groups of people, as entire associations, and as patriots, we have to stand together. I'm stating this for you because we don't know on these platforms exactly what the story is. Join our email list at standupmichigan.com. We will email you. We will do videos if we have to record them and play them for you through email. We hope that that isn't the case. I don't believe that'll be the case. I believe we'll be provided an opportunity to always be able to speak directly to you. But if you don't know and believe that the censorship goes deep across every platform and every area, from Google Analytics to Facebook to whatever you want to call it, they're all there. And if you think Parler and me, we are safe and free, they're not. One of them, as soon as the $1 billion shows up from one of these other places, they'll be sold and you'll be under the same roof again. We have to try platforms and ways to be able to reach each other without dependent or being censored or being looked at. A lot of you are commenting about, again, I will die on my feet. A lot of you are saying, come and take my keys. We don't know exactly where this will end, but I believe the difference. And this is what they don't count on. And I'm going to end with this. The American spirit is different than anything else in the world for several reasons. The people who came here, whether it was when we were founded, whether they came as prisoners or indentured servants, those that established our original colonies, came here and became free people. Over the decades and the generations, they made an unbelievable thing. I believe it was God sent. We were a godly country established on godly principles. Principles that I believe instilled in every individual the rights, again, given to us by our Creator, not by man. They established the Constitution so that we would have those protections against our government. The right to bear arms was so that you had the militias and the ability to protect yourself against your government. The ability for free speech was so that you could speak out and not be censored if you were to speak against your government. It's because they had witnessed all of that oppression that the rest of the world has been under for decades and generations, and sometimes millennial. But in America, it's been different. How many generations do you want to say there's been? 10, 15, 20 generations, however far you want to go back in the past 200 and some years. Every person that's born in America, every person that migrated to America to celebrate and understand the freedom. I had somebody on the center today, came from the Middle East, grew up in Ontario, Canada, moved 20 years ago to America, and has said they have watched America give up its freedom at every step, and he is willing to stand up, as most of them are who migrated here. But those of us who have been born here, this is the difference. Every generation has been born with the God-given, Spirit-led, in our hearts, in our souls, the knowledge and knowing that we are to be free. free to have a free choice. God gave us a free choice to believe in him. He gave us a free choice to stand up. He gave us a free choice to sin. He gave us a free choice all the way around. And in our country, we have a free choice to be whatever we want to be. As you were growing up, did you not, or were you not told, and if not by your family in some cases, were you not told by someone that you could be anything you wanted to be? If you wanted to work hard enough, the opportunity for here is unlike any other in the world. And guess what? Every one of us alive today either were told that, experienced that, believed it, lived it, and we still believe it today. Our children who are on this earth today, no matter what age they are born with that same innate sense of freedom. I don't care what level they are. I believe I saw at these rallies throughout the country and here in Michigan, a tremendous amount of young people who recognize freedom. The people who joined these other movements were feeling like they needed to be a part of something, as we all do. But once you have a sense of freedom, once you have a relationship and understanding from our Creator about the knowledge and desire to be free, then it is our responsibility to defend that freedom, defend our rights, to defend our liberties, defend our ability for religion, and to be able to stand up for one and for all. The world doesn't anticipate us being able to do that because, believe it or not, they don't understand it. They don't recognize it. They hate it because they don't have it within them the same as we do. Those that are Christians around the world understand it. Those that are oppressed and came here or came to freedom throughout the world understand it. But we are different. We are different. You have an ability and something within you that the rest of the world is still looking at and looking to. The media wants to water it down, but it can't happen because it wasn't provided to us by man. It was provided to us by God. It is time for us to recognize that, to grab a hold of that, and to do whatever is necessary through this election or the next to begin this revolution, one community at a time, not as a state, but in every community. The churches need to rile together. The restaurants in your community need to get together. The individuals in your community who believe like we do need to rise up together and then maybe show up all together. But we are setting an example for the rest of the country, and eventually we're going to shine a light on the world like we always have. The strength and the wisdom and the knowledge of this does not come from us, but again from our Creator. And we know that from the writings of our forefathers. Read it. It's amazing. It's like reading the Bible. You realize how unbelievable. Where did these words come? How could it be as true today as it was back then? The same thing is true from George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And when you read it from Abraham Lincoln and from John F. Kennedy, from all walks of life, they have believed and known that we are free people. Today's a day of reflection. And it's a day for us to join together. I ask you to share these videos. We need it to go viral, not for me, not for Stand Up Michigan, not for my community, not for you, for freedom. I believe that there's a revival coming. I believe, because it's my job to have faith every day, that something new is coming. We can be and will be better than ever before. That's my belief. I will never lose that. I ask you not to lose it either. I want you to know that this is a message of hope. This is not a message of despair. Am I frustrated and angry and tired? Absolutely. Am I going to quit? Never. I ask you not to quit either. Now's the time. we join together, show up tomorrow, and possibly in Lansing in the near future in numbers they've never witnessed before in the state of Michigan. I don't know what the rally is going to be, but it's going to be about many things. The Unlock Michigan, 500,000 of you signed it. More of you were involved in it. 60,000 of you were activists in it. Business owners who have been shut down and destroyed, who have to stand up to our legislature, to our governor, to our Secretary of State and Attorney General that we elected. I just want to close this broadcast by saying to you that there is hope. There is strength in numbers. We together can accomplish anything, but alone will accomplish nothing. I want you to enjoy the evening. Show up tomorrow if you can. Be hope and know that there is an amazing future in front of all of us. Turn your light on. Turn your sign around. Open the door and they will come. Speak the truth and they will follow. Together, we're going to change the world. Have a great evening.